Hi, I'm Ken Shank, and welcome to the class, The Bible as Christian Scripture. We'll be on this journey together for about 8 weeks, and I hope this will be a challenging and a rewarding class. It's a difficult class for me to teach because it not only involves certain skills, and the skills are, they're like any other skills. You have to learn how to do them. You need to practice them. The problem is, it's in 8 weeks, we don't have a lot of time to practice many of them, which makes it difficult. But what is also difficult about this course is because it's also about what's called hermeneutics. Hermeneutics is how do you even read a text like the Bible? And this is difficult because you already have very, very deeply ingrained in your head a certain way of reading the Bible. It reminds me of a discussion I had with a family member once where I was talking about, well, Wesleyans see this and Wesleyans see that. And finally, the family member, in frustration, stopped me and said, "Stop saying Wesleyans think this. We just read the Bible and do what it says." The implication being that other groups that aren't Wesleyan don't read the Bible correctly. Well, one of the things I'm going to argue in this class is that we are all wearing glasses when we read the Bible. Some of us are more aware of the glasses than others. And when we aren't aware of our glasses, we just assume that everybody who doesn't see the Bible we do is either evil or stupid. And both of those are wrong. In fact, probably the more that we think that the meaning of the Bible is just completely obvious, and that those who don't agree with us are heretics, probably our glasses are thicker than those for whom the Bible is a little bit more mysterious and maybe a little bit more complicated. At least that's what I'm going to argue. Well, we'll see. So this is a difficult course. It's a difficult course because to some extent it's a course in self-awareness, of taking our glasses off and saying, wow, I didn't realize that these were Wesleyan colored or Baptist colored or Lutheran colored. And so it's very difficult. When you have a certain way of looking at the world, it's not only difficult, but it can be painful and it can be very angering to be shown or to be exposed to yourself. And to feel like you're caught off guard. Wait a minute, I always thought that there were 3 wise men. What are you telling me, that Matthew doesn't actually use the number 3? Why, you heretic, but the number 3 is not there. And so it can be a frustrating, painful, and conflictual type of experience to do that. But at the same time, we're going to learn some skills. We're going to do some weightlifting. And as your track coach or wrestling coach in high school may have told you, no pain, no gain. If you don't put in the time, you're not going to be able to do the skill. And so this is going to be a challenging course, or maybe not. I hope it isn't. I hope you just and this course is just, wow, he said this was going to be challenging, and this is an easy course. Well, what are we supposed to get out of this course? The syllabus is a somewhat legally binding arrangement, and so this is what we're trying to get out of this course. By the end of this course, I hope that you will be able to, 1, recognize how basic Christian belief and practice guide the way that Christians integrate and appropriate the biblical text. This is part of the glasses. I think it's completely appropriate for us to read the Bible with Christian glasses on. I'd like us to know that we're wearing Christian glasses when we read the Bible. That theology is an essential part of reading the Bible. Explain how context changes the meaning one draws from the words of the Bible, particularly original, canonical, traditional, cultural, and personal context. We are in context as we read the Bible. I have a personal context. I grew up Wesleyan. There are American contexts. There are American traditions about how to read the Bible. I live in a certain Western cultural way. There are certain quirks about Ken Shank. He has a personality type. He's a INFJ, let's say. There's certain baggage that comes along, personality glasses. And the context against which we read the Bible changes the meaning that we see in the Bible. I would like you to be able to evaluate the original meanings. That is, what did this mean to the people to whom it says it was actually written? It actually says it was written to Thessalonians and Corinthians and Israelites. So, if they were the ones it says it was written to, then probably I should at least try, in the first instance, to read it for what it meant to them, shouldn't I? And I hope you'll be able to not just know what it meant, but also be able to appropriate it for today. What does it mean today? And right now, those may be completely mixed in your mind. You may simply think, well, God said it, I believe it, that settles it. But if God said it back then, and it meant something back then, I'm not back then. How do I bridge the gap between that time and this time? And then lastly, I hope that you will come to appreciate Scripture as having a sacramental quality in this course. What do I mean by that? That is, that ultimately Scripture is not something for me to master. The Bible is not something for me to conquer. Rather, the Bible is a tool through which God changes me, a tool by which God transforms me. And ultimately, I think God's agenda for Scripture is the most important agenda for Scripture. So there's a little sense of where I think we're going to be going in these next, hopefully somewhat fun-filled 8 weeks. I'm Ken Skank, and this is Wesley Seminary at Indiana Wesleyan University.